So be it. Well, yeah.
We'll call this work session Monday, January 9th to order. Invocation given by Mr. Kinnemer and the Pledge of Allegiance by Ms. Frederick.
Almighty God, we give you thanks and praise for your great goodness towards us. We ask you to be with the mayor and council this evening as they go about the public business. Lead, guide, and direct them in all that they do. We also ask and give praise and ask your graces to be bestowed upon these young people here gathered who have worked hard, who have accomplished a great deal with the aid of their parents and their grandparents, but especially their drive. Be with them all. These things we ask in Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
New chairs. New rollers at least.
I have to get some.
First thing tonight is to recognize the Scottsboro cheerleaders. Mayor. Before I bring you up, I just want to say how proud we are of you. Appreciate all your hard work. There's a lot of hard practice we put in before you could make a show like that. Thank the three coaches, Ms. Hodges, Mr. Williams, and Bill. Is that right? Thank y'all. Y'all come on up. I want to introduce you to the 5A state champion cheerleaders.
We may need some aerobatics.
Now, any of y'all want to speak, say anything?
They do have one thing they want to say.
Okay. Thank y'all.
We didn't get a camp picture. Katie.
Thank you.
And before we recognize the swim teams, I'm going to ask Coach Fanning to come up and help out with that one. And these certificates are in recognition of being a sectional state swim qualifier. Appreciate everybody's hard work. Coach Fanning?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for the hard work of this group right here. This is my first year being able to represent my alma mater as a head coach, so thank you for the opportunity. Thankful for all the hard work these guys put in. And it panned out for both of them being sectional champs, or runner-ups in 5A. I wanted you to be champs. We worked towards that. And fortunately, out of this group, we got a lot of returners. We've got two seniors, Ms. Paige Giles and Ms. Shelton Linville, that will be moving on, but hopefully bigger and better things for them as well as the rest of this group. So we're going to announce the names of all this group that had qualifying times. Or I'm going to?
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a shot.
You guys, yeah, I don't know who's here.
That's all right. So I'm going to announce everybody's name, whether they're here or not, and give them proper recognition. So we have Amelia Armour, who's not here. Kimberly Calvin Diaz, who is here. Morelia Calvin Diaz. Brady Giles. Paige Giles. Noel Lee, who is not here. Shelton Limble. Alice Burke. Lily Turlington, who is not here. Luke Armour, who is not here. Tommy Bianca, who is in Italy right now, but was a great part of our team. And that is, thank you. I'm thankful for that. Hold on, there we go. Perfect. Mr. Ben Bradley. Mr. Ryder Lindell. Colin Parr. William Porch. Y'all step forward if I can. Kraft Sanders. And Preston Worley. Can I give them a round of applause?
I'm so proud of y'all.
All right, we'll move on. Number 2, discuss the tourism grant application for the Jackson County Cruisers. Mr. Good.
Good evening. I'm Ralph Good, representing the Jackson County Cruisers. I would like to request that the council approve our tourism grant to support our monthly cruise-ins from April through October.
All right.
Glad to answer any questions you have.
And this is a grant in the amount of $2,100.
That's correct.
Anyone have any questions about this? I guess you'd say annual grant that we do. No questions? We'll put that on tonight's meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Number 3, discuss the request from First Southern State Bank to vacate alley. The alley off of Laurel, between Laurel and Willow Street.
It is. My name is Jack Lovelady with First Southern State Bank. We purchased the property behind the post office in '22 to put our second office in Scottsboro. And our architect believes our building is going to face Laurel. He believes that the drive-in traffic, we may need 5 feet of this vacated alley so we can make a sharp left turn in the first lane of the drive-in. So I would ask the council to vacate the alley. I know we get 5 feet and the owners of the other property get 5, but we're in negotiation to get that from them. And I appreciate consideration.
Okay.
Mr. Lovelady, do you have a copy of the property description by meets and bounds from the surveyor?
We can get that to you, Mr. Cameron.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Anyone have any questions on this vacation of the alley between Laurel and Willow Street? Okay. No one has any questions. We'll put that on January 23rd's meeting. Once we get that information, Mr. Kimmer, we can go over it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Number 4, discuss the Airport Marine High School Fishing Trail Tournament Agreement.
This is a fishing tournament agreement that I received a few weeks ago from Airport Marine. This would be a new tournament. We did not have this last year. We did approve this amount, but then they had to cancel the tournament. They had some COVID outbreaks and stuff like that. But it's for the same amount that was approved last year. It's $3,000. It would be February 11th and 12th, so it's a 2-day tournament. And it is for high schoolers, so this would be bringing in families, and it's 150 boats.
Now, you say it's for $3,000. Is there any other?
No, there's no other monetary value attached to it. They just would like some extra security to patrol during the tournament time, which is typical.
Okay.
No motel rooms or
No.
Anyone have any questions on this? No questions. We'll move that to tonight's meeting. Thank you. Number 5, discuss the ordinance related to sleeping in parked vehicles, tents, or makeshift camps on private lot or another or on public property. So, anyone have any questions about going over this again? I know we've talked about this before. I know we've discussed tabling this at the current ordinance suggestion, and I know we got a few people want to talk about it tonight, but right now, I know there's a couple people. Mr. Sherlin, I'll give you a chance right now if you want to speak on it right now.
So I have, I've gave you all pretty much what I was going to talk about tonight. I don't see a need for us to reiterate all that. I do think it's time to, address this issue. Let's talk a little bit about homeless and not sweep it under the rug. We need to find a solution to the problem, and I would like to form a committee. I'd like the city to form a committee, and let's look at the data. Let's look at the numbers we have, because there's truly a problem. I was talking to someone a while ago. They said, if a city continues pushing it to the side, we're not ever going to be able to control it. We know Huntsville's growing, Marshall County's growing, Chattanooga's growing, and it's just pushing it on us. I support Mr. Dahl. We need to protect the image. We need to protect the citizens. Safety is prior. That's a priority. But how do we fix this? And if we're not talking about it, we're not going to be able to fix it. You've got eggs, $7, $8 for a carton. You've got single moms that used to be able to make it. They can't now. So let's find a solution. Let's help our citizens. It's not all people coming from outside of Scottsboro, I promise you. I've got the numbers. We can talk about it. We need someone willing to talk about this. What's sad is, you look at the homeless rates, and I don't want to get into who's responsible for, putting these numbers together and, reporting them to Montgomery, but the numbers are not correct. They're not accurate at all. We've got a lot more homeless in Jackson County than you really want to talk about. We need to help our citizens. We need to find a solution. Let's not push it under the rug. Governor Kay Ivey, she just approved $2.65 million. Guess how much Jackson County got? Not a dime. Huntsville City, they got $400,000. Marshall County, they got $35,500. Jackson County didn't get a dime. So how are we going to be able to fix this solution with no money? We got to talk about it. So I'm willing to have that conversation. If you're willing to have the conversation, I think we need to have the conversation. And it's just something we don't need to sweep under the rug. You've got an organization that's been here for 7 years that's proven that they want to help citizens in Jackson County and the homeless, less fortunate, underserved, underprivileged. That's not to talk about the homeless students we have in our Scottsboro City school system. We need to talk about prevention. Prevention is key. We need to start at a young age, and that's in the school system. So I'm willing to have this conversation, and it's a needed conversation. I spoke to most councilmen, and I agree with everything you say. I agree there's an issue, but you can't put an ordinance in front of you can't put the cart before the horse. You've got to have a solution before you approve an ordinance. So that's all I have.
Well, like I said, we're looking at tabling this ordinance the way it's written right now. We would love for you to set up this meeting. Of course, you're Jackson County, you're county-wide.
We do
We're-
service the county,
and so-
I feel like this isn't only a Scottsboro City issue.
Exactly.
You know, we need to have this conversation with, EMA, we need to have a conversation with Scottsboro Police, county police, the city council needs to be in the meeting, mental health needs to be in the meeting. A lot of these people are mental. So what do? You throw them in jail? You throw them in jail for 30 days and give them a $500 fine, and they already can't afford it. If they did, they'd probably be in a hotel room. So, I'm here to advocate for less fortunate individuals. And I think that's what's right for Jackson County and Scottsboro City.
But like I say, if you'll set up this meeting, I know there's no one up here that wouldn't be willing to come to it. Just remember, it's got to be an open meeting for the whole general public, for all of us to come. If you're doing a closed type meeting, just invite a couple of us and we'll definitely come back and share.
Sounds good. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 6, discuss conveyance of sewer system at the shops of Scottsboro to Scottsboro Water, Sewer, and Gas Board. Mr. Green.
Mr. Chairman, Council, Mayor, I appreciate you. Number one, let me say thank you for this grant. I think it's moved our community forward. Let me tell you a little bit about it. So the city got a grant from ADECA to put the sewer in to the shops of Scottsboro with jobs being provided. That we did that. So right now, currently, that sewer line is on the city's books because you got all the funding and we ran it all through the city. So what we need to do is pass this conveyance so it takes it from the city's books and puts it onto our books, unless y'all want to take care of a sewer line, which I'd be happy to give you. But we need to push it over to our books and then we'll take it over from there. And it's just a simple process, should be. On another note, if you'd allow me, Mr. Chairman, I would like to say thank you to all of y'all. Your teamwork, your commitment has, if you haven't seen, I know y'all have seen it, but some of the public may not realize that y'all's commitment has helped move our city forward. To the tune of, with grants and ARPA money last year, we got $10 million for the citizens of Scottsboro. And I want to say thank you publicly, thank you from the citizens, and thank you from the Water, Sewer, and Gas Board publicly. Because without a good team effort of y'all, Senator Steve Livingston, we couldn't do these. We couldn't get this done. And the rates wouldn't be as stable as they are in the city of Scottsboro. So I just want to say thank you on top of that. Sorry to take just a few minutes long.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Anyone have any questions, Mr. Green, before we? Okay, we'll move that to tonight's meeting also. Number 7, discuss the proposal from Sane Associates for engineering service for the intersection improvements at Michael Way and Highway 35. Mr. Little.
Good evening. I think each of you have a proposal in front of you for the intersection improvements. This is for Michael Way and Alabama Highway 35. They're at the intersection that uses the Home Depot signal. And this is from Sane Associates out of Huntsville. And I think you have a rendering in your proposal that shows the proposed improvements of that. Maybe on page 5 or 6. Should be a color diagram. It might not be color, Whitney. Is it black and white?
Yes.
That's
It's not color.
I can answer any questions on it if you got any on the improvements.
Anyone have any questions about the improvements at Michael Way and Highway 35? And this is, what he's asking tonight is just for the engineering services, which is an amount of $51,750. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
No questions, then we'll move that to tonight's meeting also. Thank you. Number 8, discuss the budget amendment for the police department for the records management software contract and purchase proposal. Chief.
Thank you. I'll be real brief because this can get kind of out in the weeds here. But back in early 2022, the Jackson County 911 Board and the Jackson County Commission met And they included the police department, sheriff's department, in discussion about purchasing a new computer-aided dispatch program, commonly referred to as the CAD. They went through the process, actually went through the bidding process, and they selected to purchase the CAD software from Southern Software. In doing so, that's going to change everything in 911 and the 911 center, the way they take calls, dispatch calls, and how we report calls, and how fire, EMS, and police respond. In doing that, our current system that Scottsboro Police Department uses will be obsolete. Right now, we use Tyler Technologies software for our records management system. We need to, my request is that we integrate with this new Southern Software program, CAD software, so we can easily transition, and that's going to provide information to the county, to the fire, to the EMS. So Southern Software sells us a different software for police. It's called the RMS system, and then there's a jail module. There's what they call a mobile CAD, or like a mobile data information system. That's like in-car computer stuff, and that includes all your GPS and AVL, which is it keeps track of the cars, possibly the fire engines and stuff like that, where they're at on dispatch calls. They gave us a proposal for the software for the city's portion was roughly $141,298. That's for implementing the software, the purchase of the software, implementing it, training all our officers, all our dispatchers, and that also includes data conversion. Our current system, we have 18 years worth of data. We're not just going to leave it or use it or not have it as a standalone. They're going to convert that data into this new software. So we'll still have all that data from the previous software. The way they tell me they can break it down is if you all approve of the contract and everything, that the first payment when we sign the contract would be $70,699 on date of the contract signed. The remaining balance wouldn't be due till a year later. So actually what I'm asking for is the $70,699 for year 2023, and then 2024 we'll pay the remainder. The pros and cons to this, I'll be real quick. Our current system, we pay $65,000 a year just in the police department on annual maintenance, on just support for the software that we currently use. If we go to Southern Software, the first 5 years are included in this 141, and after that they average about $9,700, let's say $10,000 a year for support. So we're looking at a savings of over $55,000 a year just on maintenance if we were to go with the new software. And the other plus, the biggest plus to this software is it's going to incorporate 911, the sheriff's department, the police department, EMS, fire. They're all going to have access to this system as one system within the county. Hollywood PD is already using Southern Software, and Southern Software is well known in the state of Alabama, used by multiple law enforcement agencies. And I've talked to several chiefs throughout the state that have been on using Southern Software for years, and they have nothing but good things to say about it. Our current system as we speak, Tyler Technologies, is not NIBRS compliant. I know that's Greek to you, but in the police world, that's how we report stats to the state, and then the state in turn reports it to the federal government. So the numbers that we're sending in from Tyler Technologies software is not even compliant with the state standards, and nor do they seem to be in any hurry to get compliant. Southern Software is one of the vendors that is already currently Alabama certified and compliant. So basically, that's what I'm asking you for tonight. Any questions, I'll be happy to entertain them.
Anyone have any questions, Chief?
Chief, how long will it take to implement this system as a whole?
They hope to start with the CAD system in June, and that's another thing, if we could get this done soon, relatively soon, then we can do this all at the same time. So at the time they do 911 with the CAD system, they can also implement our RMS and JMS software, so we can get everybody kind of trained. So I'm looking at summer, June, July is the time frame to get it started. And it'll take them about 2 to 3 weeks to get us trained and go live, as they put it.
Well, it looks like the savings that we're gonna have to go to this will more than pay for it.
Oh, definitely. In 3 years worth of maintenance, will pay for the whole
Yeah.
program. And we've been paying 65 grand a year for a long time, as far back as close as I can remember.
Yeah.
Anyone have any questions on this? We're going to put this on January 23rd's meeting. Just give Mr. Kinnemer enough time to look at the contract.
Okay,
And
thank
then
you.
go from there.
My only issue is nothing. We all know that 17-year-old technology has changed. We're not using flip phones anymore.
Right.
Or 17-year-old computers anymore. My only issue at this point is it's a sole source contract and competitive bid law. I need to double check that.
Right, yeah, the sole source part of it is, they claim, is the ability to be the extension of the CAD program, which the county purchased.
Yes, sir.
So that's where that comes in. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Discuss the resolution setting rate of pay for elected officials for the special election. Ms. Phillips, will you go over that?
This is just going to set the rate of pay for election officials for the special election on February 28th. This will just pay them the same that we always do, $125 for inspectors, and all other election officials, $100 per day.
Okay. Anyone have any questions about the special election? Okay. We'll move that to tonight's meeting then. And next is discuss the resolution appointing election officials for the special election. Ms. Phillips, you go over that also.
This is just to appoint the officials to hold and conduct the special election on February 28th.
Okay. Anyone have any questions on that? None, we'll move that to tonight's meeting also. All right, number 11, discuss the resolution to award bid for the pickleball courts. Mr. Olenese.
On December 5th, I made a presentation to the council for 2 bids that had been received for the construction of the courts themselves. You may recall this was a specific phase of the project requiring contractor expertise in court construction. The December 5th presentation recommended that the work be awarded to the low bidder, Baseline Sports Construction, for the total of $154,017. The other bid was from Lower Brothers in the amount of $180,000. Prior to going out for bids, there were 5 contractors that were pre-qualified that were members of the American Sports Builders Association and Alabama General Contractors. However, very shortly after the council approval, it was brought to my attention that the original request for bids was not properly advertised. After discussions with Mayor McCamey and Mr. Livingston, the decision was made to re-advertise this to be in full compliance with the Alabama Public Works Law. The new requests for quotes were quickly sent out for rebid, and 2 bids were received from the same 2 individuals and opened last Thursday. The bid results are Lower Brothers, $151,800, and Baseline Sports Construction, $172,200. So you can see that there was a change in the low bid. Lower Brothers is the low bidders. I reviewed their bid and they're in full compliance with the specifications. I recommend that the bid be awarded to the low bidder, Brothers, in the amount of $151,800. Additionally, I also request, separate from the contract amount of $151,800, a $10,000 contingency in case of different site conditions. For example, it's very possible when the fence is installed, they'll hit some rock that has been put on the site, and so we need to be in a position to make immediate changes right there on the spot. This contingency would only be used if needed. It will not increase the $400,000 budget, and it is only for this one contract. At the completion of the work, I will bring the contract changes to the council for formal approval. Any questions?
Before we do question, Mr. Kimmer, will we need to rescind or the December 5th meeting first that we approved for the baseline at that meeting?
You need to formally rescind the awarding of the bid on the grounds that it was not properly advertised. I think by one publication in the newspaper was missed. And then reject all bids. Technically submit for rebids, which you've already done because of time. And then next motion to award the bid to the lowest responsible bidder, meeting specifications.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions about awarding this bid? And this is the money that's already approved for the project.
Yes, sir.
No questions. We'll move that to tonight's meeting.
Thank you.
Number 12, discuss the proposal for the Alex Garcia Street. Michael Hodges.
Yes, this is a proposal to construct a city street that will connect the east end of Sarah Betty Ingram Lane with Highway 72. And at the intersection with Highway 72, I'd like to point out that this is immediately across the street and in line with the new entrance into the Toyota dealership. And as I'm sure you're all aware, there's going to be a traffic light there, which this will be, I guess, relatively major intersection at this point in time. Of course, the proposal is that the city build this street for us. Some of the advantages we feel that we'd like to point out is that's going to open up some of this area at the end of Sarah Betty Ingram Lane for future development, which we're looking at some apartments in there. That's not a promise, but we're batting that idea around, as well as the area immediately behind KFC that's open up to development. Also feel this will help alleviate some of the traffic on County Park Road, which you know is about got all the congestion it can stand as it is now. So we just feel this is going to help open up this part of the town for future development, and just think that it would be a tremendous advantage to the city overall and for the traffic patterns. You should have a cost estimate there in front of you. Is that correct? We had presented this proposal to the Planning Commission some little time ago. Had it trickled down to the City Council before now, or is this the first time you're looking at it?
Well, this is the first time we've seen these numbers, but yes, of course, we've talked about this street and had meetings in the past about it. And I think most everybody's on board about doing the street. It's just some of the stuff that needs to be done before we do the street.
Right.
I know there's some utility situations that would have to be taken care of before we do the street. I think there was some lighting and some other things that need to be done.
Right.
And then we were looking at trying to do the street once those things were done.
Were you looking at Scottsboro Utilities and relocating some of their own lines, or was the city going to incur the expense of that, or?
No, the city was going to take care of the expense of building the street.
Okay.
But, you know, anything
Utility.
above that
All right.
would need to be taken care of.
Okay. All right.
Because, and we do appreciate Mr. Garcia and getting this connection to help with the traffic at County Park.
Right.
This means a lot, and I think with the light there, it'll be a whole new access for those people to get in and out without being stuck there. And that's why the city was wanting to take on this project.
Is the main entrance into the old Kmart Shopping Center, is that going to be closed off now, or? Right in, right out, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there'll be no median crossovers at all when they get done with the safety project.
Okay, yeah, and as you're well aware
That light's
there-
gonna be a busy light.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah, well, as you're aware, they're well underway with the frontage road improvements there, so we're looking forward to seeing it become reality.
yeah, and hoping there's gonna be some apartments back there someday.
Let's keep our fingers crossed.
Yes. While he's here, I want to make sure I get that in there.
I have one question.
Go ahead.
Where the proposed city street is going, is not, that property is not going to be a cost to the city, is it?
The property?
We're not going to have to pay for it?
No.
Okay.
Anyone else have any questions about this? So we'll table this until we can discuss, like I say, the utilities part, and once we get that taken care of, I think we'll put this back on the agenda. I think we're all ready to move forward with this.
So we all get back with us to tell us when we need to.
Well,
back here.
y'all, I think we need to get back with us once all that's taken care of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Okay, thank you. All right, number 13, discuss the rental of MSW landfill machine for solid waste department. Mr. Ledwell.
Yes, sir, thank you. This machine here, we've been discussing for the past couple of months. We knew we had some repairs coming up. This is a D6 dozer that's gonna have to be taken off the sale. We're having some overheating issues and some undercarriage wear that's gotta be addressed. So I have asked for a rental machine to give us some time to reevaluate and see if we can possibly continue this work with a smaller type of machine. I think we can, is why, and it'll give me time to see what's going on with the D6. I don't think we can put the money into it to get it back up to par. This machine's about $700,000. The rebuild is gonna be somewhere in the 50%, 60% range. I just don't think it's feasible. So the rental of this machine for a year is about $60,000 in that neighborhood. That will do exactly what I think we need to do moving forth, and give us some time to just see, like I said, if we can do it without a D6. They always had one when I came, and we've been using it, but the troubles that we've seen over time, I'm going to try to take the machine completely out of that, out of the garbage, because it's just too harsh for what it's doing to it.
If we lease this machine and decide to lease it again next year, will it be the same machine? And
No,
that,
sir. No, sir. He has intentions, and it's in writing. They're gonna take care of full repairs, 100%. And in 12 months, if we want to re-up it, they'll replace the machine. It's a win-win for us, and I just don't see any other way that the city could benefit any more.
I know when we discussed this earlier, the height of the machine was a big difference.
Yes, sir.
And so,
It's getting it off the garbage. Right now, we're on it, and that's what's causing some of our heating issues. And all of you are aware of a fire that's going on in Alabama because of one right now. And this heat, we're gonna alleviate some of that problem too by getting another machine that's higher.
anyone else have any questions about this piece of equipment?
I think we're fine.
Okay. We'll move out to tonight's meeting. And number 14, discuss replacing the pool heaters. Mr. Wood.
Thank you very much. The cold snap we had at Christmas, coupled with power outages, our pool heaters failed to continued running during that whole process and froze up. We've replaced the plumbing. but the heaters themselves do need to be replaced. We had one almost complete heater an extra one that we had in storage that Philip's been able to piece together. So our water is heating up right now, but that heater is kind of on a limited lifespan. So replacing those 2 heaters would continue to help us keep the pool warm.
Anyone have any questions about the pool heaters? Okay, nothing, and we'll move that to tonight's meeting also. That'll conclude the work session. We'll do reports at the end of the council meeting. Give us about 5 minutes to swap all this over, and then we'll have a council meeting. We're adjourned from the work session.
We have filed an insurance claim, so the pool heater's made. We'll see how that plays out.
So, this is towards the station. It's $2,100. $3,000. Also be towards this will be a resolution for assistant shops Scottsboro.
I guess, which they already had is that what?
I just want to make sure that I'm
He said-
saying the right thing.
Does the conveyance need to be a resolution, or can they just approve the conveyance?
Resolution authorizing signature.
Authorize mayor and city clerk.
Oh, yeah, that'll work, but it just says seller signature on here.
Just the
So,
mayor.
yeah.
Just authorize the mayor.
About what? Yeah, they signed up to speak.
I thought it was gonna be on records.
Yeah, they want to check up their
Patrick apparently called him and asked what he had to do for someone to get on the agenda.
They didn't give it to you.
What was that, you know?
I've got 11 actually. Hold on. I'll get with you. I want to make sure I've got things there. But now I broke down, reject the bids.
Okay,
That
I
one.
just put serious.
Yeah.
Decided they ain't got legs.
Because I'll have to do separate votes. And so.
I believe it'll be
All right,
unanimous.
next. A resolution to approve engineering from Sane Associates.
Okay, so.
Resolution to approve engineering from Sane Associates for intersection.
It'll be,
That's number 5, yeah.
And that was the amount of-
yeah, you can talk. You tell us what you want.
Oh, I read it.
But we won't be able to vote on
Number 6, resolution setting the pay rate, the rate of pay for elected officials for the special election. I guess I need to tell how much that is.
It doesn't matter.
100, 100.
For inspectors and 100 for everybody else, but
Yeah, we'll just leave it like that then. The resolution appointing elected officials for the special election, vote on that. Then, number 8, formally rescind bids and reject bids from December 5th.
On the reason is it's not properly advertised.
Sure.
They're not in any big rush.
Then accept the rebid.
with a 10,000 contingency.
I got it there.
It'll be lower. Even with a contingency.
Right?
Yeah, because he had it before too.
Yeah.
All right. Reject bids and resident award to Lower Brothers to approve bids and award. I'm just going to do those together since it's already done. Approve bids and award to Lower Brothers for $151,800 plus a $10,000 contingency for the big ball. Number 9 be a resolution to award, or I'm sorry, number 10, that was 9.
What was 9?
One of my houses
paid off yesterday.
Oh, I got that as 8.
Jean's house.
8 I got to
Oh,
reject.
yours.
This one got the vote twice.
Okay. 8, okay, and
Better
then
make
this is
my own
9.
mortgage release.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
9 award the bids. 10 resolutions for rental
I
of
can
the
do it. I can do it.
MSW landfill machine for solid waste department.
Okay.
Already starting legal service.
$65,000 for the rental from excess.
Don't tell anybody I prepared deeds.
And number 11, the resolution to replace the pool heaters. $14,900 come out of excess.
No. Well, I wouldn't recommend anybody else. No.
Good with all
I
that?
tell people all the time, go to an attorney.
If insurance doesn't approve it, then it would just be $2,500.
So we're gonna, I need to put that in there? There's an insurance.
Okay. Because the pool heaters froze. We filed a claim with insurance, but we just haven't heard. I think that maybe.
Mention that insurance claim has been filed. And insurance proceeds will go towards the replacement.
Okay.
But
I'm just gonna put up to.
to,
Okay, now,
but that's more of a source of funds issue.
okay, I'll do that in the discussion part. Okay? All right. Y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Okay. Oh. Just.
That's why I didn't know.
All right, we'll call this council meeting Monday, January 9th to order. We'll dispense with formalities. Ms. Phillips, will you do the roll call?
Mr. Dahl?
Here.
Ms. Tolliver? Here. Mr. Ashburn?
Here.
Ms. Frederick?
Here.
Mr. Bailey?
Here. Before we adopt the agenda, I'll go over it. Number 1 is consider the ordinance 643 amended zoning ordinance, rezone of the property that's considered 0 Phillips Drive. And this was going to an from R1 to R3. Number 2, tourism grant application from the Jackson County Cruisers in the amount of $2,100. Number 3, Airport Marine High School Fishing Trail Tournament. This is tourism grant from the amount of $3,000. Number 4, a resolution to authorize the mayor's signature on to sign over the sewer system to the shop of Scottsboro to Scottsboro Water, Sewer, and Gas Board. Number 5, a resolution to approve the engineering from Sane Associates for the intersection improvements at Michael Way and Highway 35. This is in the amount of $51,750 that would come out of excess sales tax. Number 6, the resolution setting the rate of pay for the election officials for the special election. Number 7, the resolution appointing election officials for the special elections. Number 8, to formally rescind bids and reject bids on December 5th on not being properly advertised for the pickleball court. Number 8, or let's see, I'm sorry, that was number 8. Number 9, the resolution to approve bids and award the bid to the Lower Brothers in the amount of $151,800 plus a $10,000 contingency for the pickleball courts. Number 10, resolution for the rental of the MSW landfill machine for solid waste department in the amount of up to $65,000 for the rental, and that would come out of excess sales tax. And number 11, the resolution to replace the pool heaters up to $14,900, that would come out of excess sales tax. So do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the agenda? Hearing none, we'll vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Agenda's approved. Next is the approval of the previous minutes. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on that? Hearing none, we'll vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. There's no old business, so we're moving to new business. Number one, considering the ordinance 643, amending the zoning ordinance to rezone the property at 0 Phillips Drive. And so, Ms. Phillips, will you do a roll call vote on this one?
Mr. Dahl?
Yes.
Ms. Tolliver?
Yes.
Mr. Ashburn?
Yes.
Ms. Frederick?
Yes.
Mr. Bailey?
Yes. Motion carries. Moving to number two, tourism grant application from Jackson County Cruisers in the amount of $2,100. Do I have a motion to approve this?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on it? Hearing none, we'll vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number three, approve the Airport Marine High School Fishing Trail Tournament. This is an amount of $3,000 to come out of tourism grant. Do I have a motion to approve that?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on it? Hearing none, we'll vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number four, resolution to authorize the mayor to sign over the sewer systems at the shops of Scottsboro to Scottsboro Water, Sewer, and Gas Board. Do I have a motion to approve that?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on it? Hearing none, we'll vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number five, the resolution to approve engineering from Sane Associates for the intersection improvements at Michael Way and Highway 35. This would be in the amount of $51,750 that would come out of excess sales tax. Do I have a motion to approve that?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on that? Hearing none, we'll vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number six, a resolution setting the rate of pay for the election officials for the special election. Do I have a motion to approve that?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on it? Hearing none, we'll vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number seven, resolution appointing election officials for the special election. I have a motion to approve those names.
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on that? Hearing none, we'll vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number eight, to formally rescind bids and reject bids on December 5th and of the properly not advertised for the pickleball court. Do I have a motion to rescind those bids?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I second.
Any discussion on those? Hearing none, we'll vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number nine, a resolution to approve rebidding and award the bid to Lower Brothers in the amount of $151,800 plus a $10,000 contingency for the pickleball courts. Do I have a motion to approve those?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on that? Motion carries. Oh, I'm sorry. We'll vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 10, resolution for the rental of MSW landfill machine for the solid waste department. This would be in the amount of up to $65,000 for a 1-year rental, and it would come out of excess sales tax. Do I have a motion to approve that?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the rental? Hearing none, we'll vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Number 11, resolution to replace the pool heaters, and this is an amount of $14,900 that would come out of excess sales tax. Do I have a motion to approve that?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? In discussion, I just like to say there is an insurance claim on the pool heaters. So whatever amount that we get on if we get anything on the insurance claim, that will take part of that money away. That will cover part of that. So this is an amount of up to $14,900 to cover the difference, if there is any. Any other discussion on that? Okay. And we'll vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. That'll conclude the meeting. We'll go to delegations. Mr. Carter.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all for letting me speak. I've been to a lot of council meetings and never, and I want to say what Jimmy Green said, I appreciate what y'all do, and a lot of time it's a thankless job what y'all do. But I've never been hugged and kissed on the cheek and asked how my wife was.
I love
appreciate
it.
that neither.
Thank
at all.
you.
I do.
Thank you.
And I'll take one from you next time, Pudge. But I mean, y'all noticed we've got some record services here, and I guess they call me Jaws, so I guess I'm the delegated speaker. So, but it goes back to about 6.5, 7 years ago that we met in a conference room and we talked about rates for record services. And I know this is kind of bring it up tonight for y'all to talk about it, and we'll get you the paperwork, whatever you need. But we have to be inspected by the state of Alabama, and we tell Aaliyah, okay, you come and inspect us. We have to have certain things on our trucks, have to have a carrier liability insurance, work comp, certain equipment on the truck, got to have a rollback, got to have a wrecker. And then we tell them what rates we want to charge to the state of, to Aaliyah, and that's what we're going to charge for wrecks, impounds, rotations, owner's requests, whatever the case may be. But about 6.5, 7 years ago, we met in the conference room. Mr. Dahl was the police chief then, and we went from 85 to 175, and it's been that for that long. Now, we were talking out front to fill up a rollback for me, $500, $550, depends on how high the fuel gets. My insurance for those 3 trucks, $19,000 to $24,000 for $2 million liability. Fuel ain't going down, hadn't gone down. Of course, you've got a $103,000 truck that now costs you $150. So for these guys that have big records, and I don't, it may be $1,500, $1,800 for them to fill up. So what we're coming for, or coming to ask, we got to be re-inspected before June. Aaliyah, come talk to us. They'll look at our trucks, and then you fill out the paperwork, basically saying, "Hey, look, this is what we need. This is what we need pay-wise. This is what we need for storage. This is what we need for recovery, for oil drive, for crash wrap, and all those things that come along with the towing operation." And that's why we're here now, because we've not talked in the mayor's office for a long, long time, and Ralph, you'll remember that. So, right now the state is $225 for a wreck. You got recovery that they've said for an extra man's $85. Recovery was set at $85. We want that to go to at least $100 because a lot of times y'all got a thankless job. So do we. 2, 3 a.m. in the morning, police are there, we're there, fire department's there. A lot of people don't know about it, but we have to do those jobs. Of course, I don't have a big record, these guys, but we'd get you some rates as far as the big records. But we'd like to see that go up a little bit as opposed to what it was, or it has been for the last 6.5, 7 years, if I'm right in that. Yeah. And I know it's been a while. I think it was Mr. Potter that was the last one in his first term. So, but we will get you something. I mean, I noticed Nita was writing some things down, and
Sorry.
That's fine.
The rates that you guys are looking at are to mimic the state's rates, correct?
What we've all basically is what the state has. We'd mirror the state, because I know we've always gone by Huntsville State or Huntsville Police as far as what we charge. Right. The storage rate's been $35 for a long, long time.
And for those that don't really understand, when there's a car accident in Scottsboro, the police are called, and when the police get there, they ask the person involved in the accident if they would prefer a particular record company or not. And if they don't have any particular record company, they go to the rotation. Officer calls the rotation, and whoever's next on that rotation will come. Now we, with that ordinance that we have, regulate what they can charge the people that are getting onto the rotation. So that's all this is, and what they're going to do is mirror the state record rates, and we'll change it on our side to be the same.
Right. And I know why that ordinance was put in. I mean, you and I do.
Right.
And I understand that.
Just some
but-
people were going excessive, so.
Right. So we don't want that to happen. We want to kind of stay within those guidelines of the ALEA, what they've set for us. And the basis, they come to us.
Yeah.
Hey, Eddie, we're here to inspect your trucks, and we fill out all of our paperwork, have to do the DOT physicals, have the drug cards, that we've been drug tested, and all those things that we have to do. You present them with that and say, okay, what do you think you need for towing in the city limits or in the county, with it being the state? So, but we would like to, just like Ralph is saying, we'd like to do something like that.
Mr. Daw and I both said in that last meeting.
Yes, sir.
That was spoken about, and what has been said is absolutely accurate. What we tried to do at that time is base it upon state and Huntsville, Madison County numbers, with the intent that we would someday come back
Right.
as inflation developed and things went on. And it's been, I think it was Melton Potter's first term, so it's been more like 9 years.
Something close to that, and going from an $85 a rate to $175, and if you remember, I told you, I said, I think we may be a little excessive in that, but the inflation, eggs wasn't $7. I heard somebody
Look
said
where
that
we're at
earlier.
now.
Fuel wasn't five something a gallon, almost 6 at one time, but I appreciate y'all's time, and these guys here, we all worked hard. I don't know how these guys make it, honest to God, it's only got a towing service, because, I'm a co-owner of Precision Auto Body, and to me, wreckers are a necessary evil to bring those wrecks to my shop. And that's, just the towing business is tough. And I couldn't imagine as far as just having a towing business. And I got 2 full-time wrecker drivers, and they make a good wage, and I hope they make a good living. I hope they say good things about us. But I'd like to see us all where we could all make a living.
So you're gonna bring back to
I'll bring
us-
something back to you. I'll get it
How
to you
about I
this
put
week.
this on the work session on January 23rd?
And I'll
You
have-
bring that stuff back to us, let us all, and we'll pull our old ordinance and get those numbers and see where we're at, and we can go over it on the work session on January 23rd.
And then
I
you'll,
appreciate-
you'll get with the other record companies and.
Yeah, we'll all be in
Okay.
it. We kind of hashed it out front, but it don't take us
Good,
long,
good, good.
We're ready for a cup of coffee and a donut.
All right.
Thank y'all.
All right,
Appreciate
January
y'all.
23rd.
January 23rd, I'll be back.
All right. Thank you. Now I've got Terry McDonald.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Honorable City Council. I'm here kind of in support of Mr. Sherlin, and my wife and I, we've been residents here for about 4 years. And we live on 35 there between the two sets of bridges. And we used to see people walking there, and they didn't have a fishing pole in their hand, so we kind of wondered what was going on. So, spending some time here, we learned that a lot of them were homeless. And I asked around, I go, do we have a homeless problem here? And I was always told, no, we don't have a homeless problem. Well, in the last few years, I've been involved with Nourish One Child, where, and it's like Mr. Sherlin said, there's some children out there that are technically homeless or almost homeless. And I've been helping him, volunteering at the Life Resources, and I've been able to interface with these people. And it came to a head for me this past winter. I know you're aware of, especially at Christmas time, where we had that cold spell, and so we work with emergency management and the police and whatnot to try to set something up. And it really raised my eyebrows to see the number of people out there that we served. I know a number of them were people that didn't have heat in their houses, but there was a fair number of them that were homeless. And I've worked with homeless people as a volunteer throughout my career. And there's some of them out there that have mental issues. I've heard numbers as high as 80%. There's some of them that have drug issues. Some as high as, I've heard that as high as 60%. And so they are present here. I see more of them coming, with Huntsville growing and Chattanooga coming, and they're pushing them out and pushing them this way. So I would like to, I'm with Mr. Sherlin, is let's have a committee look at this problem. It is a problem. It is going to get worse. Let's talk about, see what we can do. And I think the old-fashioned homeless shelters is not the answer anymore. We need to get some type of counseling for the mentally ill and for those with drug problems. We can work closer with Impact to try to find some of these people jobs, because there's some of them that want to work, but due to circumstances, they haven't been able, to find jobs. So this is near and dear to me, and I don't know if I'm allowed to use scripture or not, but if I am, remember Matthew 25, 34 through 39, you probably know about that what we do for these people, we do for him. So I do appreciate your time and your consideration, and I respect the council. You've done some great things for this community. I know you'll continue to, but again, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No other delegations, so we'll go to reports. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a couple of things tonight. He mentioned in his comments just now about the cold weather that we had over the holidays. I'd like to recognize Scottsboro Electric Power Board and manager Philip Cheney for his communication about the TVA-initiated rolling blackouts that we had to endure for a short period of time, as well as Water, Sewer, and Gas Board, Mr. Jimmy Green. They did a lot of work during the extreme temperatures. They were out when nobody else was. I know Mr. Green sent a couple of his guys to help Cumberland Mountain Water Authority and Jackson County Water Authority with a lot of the leaks that they had. They get their water from Scottsboro Water, Sewer, and Gas. So thank y'all for what you did during the cold weather to do everything that you could. We appreciate it very much. That's all I've got, Mr. President.
Thank you. Mr. Dahl?
I don't have anything. Thanks for everybody coming out.
Thank you. Ms. Tolliver?
I don't have anything. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Ms. Frederick?
I just want to thank everybody that did come out. I know people have different reasons for coming out. I want you to know that we do take your concerns seriously. We listen to you, and we try to make the best decisions. And I appreciate everybody that's here tonight.
Thank you. Mr. Ashby?
New year, I'd like to remind everybody about recycling. If you can't recycle everything, recycle something. If you can only do pasteboard, do that. If you can only do plastic, do that, but do something. We gotta keep stuff out of that landfill. That thing is a money pit up there. The city will furnish the bags for your recycling. They're here at City Hall if you want to pick up some, if you know somebody, and you can also get them up at the solid waste up on 72. And if somebody that can't get here to get the bags, call them, let us know. We'll get them the bag. We just gotta up this recycling. I know I'm a broken record, I say it quite often, but we gotta keep stuff out of that landfill if we can. It's not really a money-making thing, but in the long run it is, because it'll make our landfill last longer. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Just want to remind everyone, next Monday being a holiday, we will not meet, and so our next meeting will be January 23rd, and we will have a work session and a meeting that night. So that being said, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the adjournment? None, we'll vote.